What's up, everybody? You know what it is. It's the MasterChef After Show. It is the finale. We got everything going on. It's about to go down. Make sure you watch because we're going to talk about the winner, and we got two guests coming down. Let's go. Let's get it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz
Are the champions.
Oh, y'all are singing it. Frank is still committed
My
to the finger
friend.
guns.
I know, and this is a hard finger pointing beat. You have to really be skilled at finger pointing.
Point it. Finger point it.
Finger pointed.
Gotta punch
Yeah, you gotta punch it up.
I'm sorry, Internet. I'm sorry.
Oh man, the champions of the world. Man, this was crazy. It was a good episode. We found out who won. We're gonna talk to some people about it. But first off, I'm gonna give my name because that's what I'm supposed to do first. My name is Lem Gonsalves, and I'm so glad to be here with everyone. And the whole panel is here.
Whole family.
Yes.
Got the
Next
whole
to me
family.
is the amazing, the incomparable, the beautiful Ashley on camera.
Stop.
Ashley Chaney.
Stop it. Hi, everyone. So good to be here.
Yes.
How y'all doing?
How y'all doing? And the cook extraordinaire, chef of the panel, the expert, Carlina is here.
I'm back.
Yes. And unfortunately, he's not a champion. He's less than a champion.
That's right. Nope. I am a loser through and through.
But he's champion of the losers.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. I'll take that title. Congratulations on hosting your first ever show here, Lem.
Yeah.
You're crushing it. You're crushing it.
Doing so good.
Oh
to
my
have you.
God. It's Frank Moran, everybody.
Hooray. Not really.
He serves it right back. Serving it back.
I mean, it's the last, you know what it is? I'm just really emotional because it's the last episode of the season.
Yeah.
So, excuse me if I may stumble because, emotions run high. We're dealing with food. We're dealing with master chefs. We're dealing with, all kinds of things. And so, yeah, excuse me while I'm in my feelings.
Don't you worry. Right here. If you need a little
Exactly.
tissue,
Exactly.
a little shoulder.
Cue the Drake song, please.
We got you.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, we do have a guest on the line. I'm super excited. He is a returning guest. He's been here once before, and he's amazing. And he's in the top 3, and we saw him put it down. Cesar is with us.
Hey.
Hey guys,
How you doing, man?
I'm doing really good. Yeah, I'm here. I was surprised at how good the editing and everything went down for the finale. It was probably the best episode.
Wow.
I lied. After the Emily Shanika episode, this was the second best.
This was the second best. Yeah, that was a serious episode.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's dive right into it. Let's talk about, it's the top 3. It's no secret, you were definitely slated to be the champion. I think you were definitely the front runner going into it. How did you feel, being at the top 3? Your family is there. You got the other cooks, home cooks have returned. What is your feeling at that point?
The aspect of the live audience and, like you said, the families being there, the returning cooks, just gave it an entirely different element to that cook. And it was one of those surreal experiences where I was watching myself from above the whole time. I was watching it unfold and seeing all of us go through this. And by far one of my favorite experiences that I've had up to this point in the competition.
Wow.
What was different about this season of MasterChef for the finale is that we've never seen the home cooks go home and the judges visit them there. For you,
Right, exactly.
How long did you have? Did you get a chance to go home, and how long were you there before you had to fly back and do the finale?
It wasn't that long. It was a matter of a few days. We got back, and I think we had a day with our family, and then the arrangements started happening. I was like, hey, because they came to our places of employment first, and then to the families, to the families and to the homes as well. So for all three of us, I think that was just something, like you said, it's never been done before. So we're so happy that we got to be the first ones to experience that. I mean, to have Aron in my house eating with my family.
Yeah.
And same thing for Gerron and for Ashley. We're the only three that can say that right now, and that's an amazing feeling.
Very special.
One thing I have, because what's always interesting when a judge goes and visits somebody in their hometown is that you get a chance for them to kind of break down what the strategy is and what you're trying to do for the finale. We just saw just a small smattering of what Aron asked you in terms of what you were going to prepare for the finale. Did you guys actually get any chance to talk off camera, just a little bit more in depth about what you wanted to do, and did he give you any tips or advice?
Yeah, the visits were actually a lot longer than they showed, and we know that for editing. But Aron was at my job for about 2 hours. He came into one of my classes, and my students were just over the moon about it. And then we had the time at my house, at my parents' house, and then we rode around the car for a good 45 minutes. He just asked me to show him, with the spots that I grew up around, what my neighborhood was like. And during that car ride, and is really when we had that one-to-one of you've done this well, you kind of struggled in these points, what are you thinking for your final dishes? And he was just giving me some feedback. And it's a shame that they didn't show it, because I'm sure the experience was the same for the other two finalists. But like the judge, Aron opened up to me. He started talking about his past and his upbringing and the role that his mom had with him, and how he lost his dad kind of young. So just growing up through the industry and having all these different mentors that also were father figures, and just for him to open up like that and share something so personal made those home visits that much more special.
We saw my favorite part about him visiting your home is your mom, and how she was talking, and she seemed to be getting emotional because she's talking about the experience you had and bringing you over from your home country, and just basically that she gave you everything. She did everything for you. How did that feel, hearing that from your mom, and then even having Aron in the presence of that?
That was a very emotional moment, and that's something I've always known about my mom, but she's never vocalized it like that. So to see her get emotional, and my aunt, uncle, a few of my cousins were there, it was really a touching moment for us as a family. And to have a Chef Aron there, and once my mom was done talking, he related how his family upbringing is very similar. His mom has made the same kind of sacrifices that my mom has. And when I went off to do this cool, amazing adventure, I never saw me being like a spokesperson for the immigrant community. And it wasn't until it started airing that I started getting all these amazing messages of like, hey, thanks for sharing that. My parents, went through the same thing. Like the episode when I explained about my dad dumpster diving, I got a handful of messages saying like, yeah, my parents, had to go through that too. And to be able to showcase my mom's struggle, sacrifices, and what she did for us was something that I can hang my hat on and be really proud about.
Wow.
Yeah, I really loved watching your mom. I have it in my notes. I was like, Cesar's mom is the best. Like just having her like watch you and cheer you on. Out of, the 3 rounds, I'm curious to see which one of your dish you think was the most challenging.
I would have to say it was my appetizer.
Yep.
Yeah. I
lot of
used
factors going on
Yeah.
there.
I used three blender cups, a food processor, a deep fryer, a comal, like literally every piece of equipment and every technique. I put it into that appetizer, and I'm just happy I got it off and it came out the way I wanted to. So that was my most complex and time-consuming dish.
I love how they're showing when you put the tortillas in the deep fryer and it's like, oh, is it gonna rise?
Everybody's
Is it gonna
so
rise?
stressed.
Everybody's like, and then you're like, oh, I think it rose, and then everybody's like clapping. Like that was like my favorite part
I
of
knew
that.
it was gonna rise. I was like, just wait for it.
Yeah, just wait for it. Just wait for it.
Well, Cesar, before you do the finale, when you're still at home, do you just do your own like mock kind of finale challenge to yourself? Kind of put 90 minutes, 60 minutes on the clock.
Timing, yeah.
Yeah, and then just do these dishes.
Yeah, I did. I did. The few days that we were back home, that's what I did. I would set timers, and I would make sure. I mean, I had to wash a ridiculous amount of dishes practicing, but that's exactly what I did.
That's dope. I want to get into, so you know, obviously you do your appetizer, you do your entree and your dessert. I don't remember, and maybe you guys can help me, but in previous seasons, I feel like they eliminated one person, and then it came down to the top two.
The two and the two.
So they kept all three of you on this particular season. Did you feel that once everything was done, because, you know, all three of you were still there, how you felt? Did you feel like confident, like, you know, this is mine, or did you have any reservations?
That's a good question. So the appetizer round happened, and you know, all the judges went and they were giving us their opinion on our dishes, and just some of the things that Chef Gordon was saying and Chef Aaron. I kind of started reading between the lines, and I was like, maybe it's not in the bag. They were very complimentary, and they were saying stuff like, you know, regardless of what happens tonight, you have a bright future in this industry, and you know, it's been a pleasure to watch you all season. You know, and your food has always been something that we enjoyed. So I was happy after the appetizer round, and then in the entree, I think no, it wasn't until the dessert. It was until the dessert where I was like, because I felt I took the appetizer round and my entree round. You know, the duck was a little overcooked, but I still think my sauce was ridiculous. You know, my mole really came out.
Where's that recipe? Where's that 1 hour recipe? I want it.
Yeah, that one is, I practiced that one a ridiculous amounts of time, and it came down to I could get it. I nailed it, and like I made it at home a couple times, and it was like, no, this is good. Even for an hour, you were able to pack that much flavor into this sauce. And in the dessert, it's kind of when I became a little unraveled, because I wasn't able to put one of my components on there. And Ashley was. I was like, Ashley finished all of her dessert, and that's where I was like, okay, you know, it could go either way now. It's up for grabs.
If you were making the entree again, would you still use the duck breast?
No, I wouldn't. And really, I should have. I had it in my mind. I was like, okay, it's an entree, so you're expected to see protein. You know, that's just the custom we have here in America. But there's a restaurant in Mexico City that I respect a lot. It's called Puyol, and they just literally serve one dollop of the mole and like tortillas on the side for you to make tacos.
Oh,
no
wow.
vegetables, no protein, nothing. Just like this nice circle of mole on a plate. And part of me wanted to do that, where I was just like, I'm gonna leave the duck off, or I'm gonna serve a vegetarian, you know, entree. But I guess I fell into that trap of people expect to see some sort of protein on an entree dish.
Yeah, it's tricky. That would have been an interesting gamble. I wonder how they would have reacted without a protein. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's several types of protein. He could have, like, you know, done egg, you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, and I think too, I mean, you know, we've seen this, you know, time and time again. I think anytime you push the envelope, if it works, you know, it does happen. But like you said, you know, it's easy to be comfortable and be like, okay, they expect a protein, let me give them a protein, and then, you know, you see what happens. But it looked amazing.
Yeah,
it looked.
really
I wanted to eat it. All of it. So I don't care. I don't care if anything was dry. I was like, I don't care. I will use that mole.
Yes,
and I was like, man, I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen. How was it for you having your family there, like watching you compete and being there to support you?
I loved it. I love that extra layer of having them and listening, because at home, my sisters aren't very, I mean, they're sisters, you know, they're not very vocal about, you know, being proud of my accomplishments, and they're always giving me a hard time. I think I told you last time that they're my biggest trolls on social media.
Right.
That's awesome.
But I could hear them, you know, them shouting, you know, hurry up. And that's their way of showing me, you know, how proud they were of everything that I've accomplished this season. So it was amazing. I love the fact that they were there.
Well, let's also talk about because you mentioned for the dessert that you didn't get a chance to put one component on there. Did it all come down to the cut? Was that the sole reason?
Yes, it was the sole reason. And it wasn't, I didn't cut myself there. Like, I reopened a wound. I had cut myself maybe 2 or 3 days before. And when I was doing that dessert, because it was another one with a lot of components, I turned around too quickly and I hit that pinky on the stand mixer. And when I hit it, that's when it reopened that wound that wasn't completely healed. But because I had the finger caught, for hygiene purposes, it started filling up with the blood. So it became like this little bubble of blood at the tip of my pinky. And I was like, okay, I can't keep going like that. Let me run back to the equipment room. I'll take the old one off, clean myself up and switch into a new one. So when I go to peel the finger cut that's filled with blood, that's when all that the blood that had accumulated splattered onto my chef jacket.
Oh my gosh.
And of course it seemed, and I bet they were like, yes, we got this amazing moment to show on television.
Right.
Because like 4 cameras just swooped in on me, and they're like, let's make sure we capture this. And I lost a good 6-7 minutes while they cleaned me up, rebandaged, and put that glove on me. And then I just, I was like, I ran up there and I was like, do I attempt to, finish my moves, or do I plate the components that I have? And I went with plate the components that you have.
And you were fantastic and a trooper. First of all, I have to give you credit for putting tamarind in your caramel. What? Mind blown. Cesar, you knew. You were like, Carlita's gonna give me credit for that. Like, you knew it. We went back in time, and you're like, I'm gonna meet her, and I knew.
Back in time. Oh man.
Got into the DeLorean again. And
Exactly.
The DeLorean.
Exactly. But I'm curious. Wait, can you repeat one more time? Like, what was that component that you forgot to put on there?
Okay, so the complete dessert was the flourless chocolate cake. The tamarind caramel, and then I had the sauteed mango with lime zest, and then the component I didn't get on there was a lime and coconut mousse.
That would have set it off.
Yeah. So that would.
I'm like, yo, I'm just drooling over here. Lime and coconut mousse. Oh. Yeah,
that's my all-time favorite.
Yeah, that one is.
Flourless chocolate cake is my all-time favorite. First ever fancy dessert I ever had at a restaurant was flourless chocolate cake.
Really?
With a lime ganache on top, or like a lime.
Oh, nice.
And I've never forgotten it. It was the first moment that I had like fine dining, and so forever, if there's ever a flourless chocolate cake on the menu, that's what I go to.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm so hungry. Sorry.
Cesar, where are you? Come make dessert for us.
One last question. I wanted to know, like, when we interviewed you last, you said that at your school where you teach at, they allowed you to now teach a cooking class.
Yep.
I wanted to know how that's going. Is there any more developments on that, or anything added in the school?
Yeah, I mean, the school was just a buzz with me being a contestant on MasterChef and getting it so far. And the cooking class is going really well. I've had my students practice their knife skills for the first few weeks. And we have our first event tomorrow, actually. There's going to be a district kind of Hall of Fame ceremony for some of the old alum athletes that are coming back. Oh, nice. And we're going to be my students and I are going to be providing some appetizers for it. So we're doing some sopes and some ceviche, and just things that speak to our community. So it's been a lot of fun being able to teach this class.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
That doesn't make you nervous, giving a bunch of kids knives? No?
At first, I was like, man, there's, I had a big stack of Band-Aids. I was like, I'm going to run through this on the first day. But luckily, they've been cautious enough. I've only had one cut so far, so I'm thinking that is a victory.
Still pretty good.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is good.
No,
They maybe should bring, home ec back? Like, how old does home ec go back to?
I had home ec in school.
Did you have home
It was
ec?
my favorite class.
I didn't.
You did not.
You did not.
No.
Yeah, I did not. But
All
I
right,
think
everybody relax.
maybe I just think maybe it was in a hood school.
I learned how to sew. I learned how to make
Really?
chocolate chip cookies.
Was it a public school?
Sure was.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, this is somewhere in the burbs.
Oh, this was in
doing,
the sticks of Virginia. They were
Sticks
training
of
me to be
Virginia.
a mama.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in South Sac, so they didn't have anything like that. They just wanted you to come to class.
Cesar, certainly what we've seen throughout the season, that as certain chefs get eliminated, the judges kind of open the door to kind of helping them out, continue their culinary journey. Finishing this, did Chef Gerron keep the door open in terms of any mentorship or giving you assistance going forward?
I really wish they aired it, but both Chef Gordon and Chef Aron said the doors to their restaurants were open for me, and that was an amazing comment. Immediately after the episode ended, I forwarded a letter to the MasterChef team, so they can forward it to Chef Ramsay, and hopefully something can come of that offer. And I was really happy to hear that from both of them. And I want to pursue spending time, in their kitchens if that's possible, for, just to keep growing and keep improving my skills.
Awesome.
That's dope.
We
Well,
hope the best
Cesar,
for you.
thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on being in the top 3.
Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and hopefully I'm looking for that cookbook to come out so I
Yes.
can just put it on my shelf and look at it, because I won't be using it because I don't cook. So, yay!
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure again.
All right.
You're
Yes.
always welcome on Cooking with Carlina.
Yes.
I got you. I'll make a shout out and we'll see what we can do together. That'd be cool.
Right before we let you go, Cesar, let the people know where they can find you.
Once again, it's Take_Son on my Instagram, TAQUE_SON. And I have a lot of Eat With dinners coming up and a lot of events around Houston. So definitely keep up, and you're in the Houston area. Come out and say hi and try some of the food.
That's what's up.
Change that battery on your fire alarm. Change that battery on your fire alarm.
Yeah, that too. Or somebody's burning something up. So tend to that. All right, Cesar, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Have
Thank
a
you
good
so
night.
much, guys.
Yes,
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Frank, why don't you tell the people about AfterBuzz?
Let the
Oh,
people
that
know.
seems so personal.
I know.
But all right. I guess I can do that. AfterBuzz is our network, produces after shows for nearly all your favorite shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve you, the television fan. None.
Not one.
Bar none. But we need your help. We're asking that you subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, Carlina, do they have to worry about them?
Nope.
No, why? Because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz TV content as well. And let us know you did so in the comments. And even though this is the last MasterChef show, do so in the comments, because Lem reads these. He sits at night with a nice bottle of Ripple, and he reads those comments. And he's going to find you there on social media and give you a personalized shout out right there on social media. It's going to be beautiful. So make sure you do that. For now, though, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV Talk.
There it is.
That's right. And shout out to everybody that's in the live chat with us tonight. If you've got any questions for our next guest, Juni, hit us up in the live chat. I see you, Bailey. I see you, Strat Ocaster. Clever name. We're in the live chat. Hit us up. We're talking with you there.
Yeah. So as promised, we do have 2 guests. We just had Cesar, and ladies and gentlemen, MasterChef in the house. Judy is with us.
Yes!
Yes, Juni. We're so glad to have you.
What's
I'm
going
glad
on?
to be here.
What's going on, man?
Not much, just kind of settling in now that the whole buzz of the show is over, and just, really congratulating everybody and talking to everybody about everything that went down. And yeah, just, enjoying life now that all this is over.
Oh, word.
So you're free and clear. You can spill all the tea you want, right? Now everything's out.
Yeah. It's like almost 1 o'clock where I'm at, so I can't be having tea because otherwise I'm not going to go to sleep. So I have some water. So ready to spill it.
Well, I guess the first big question is, were you happy with the results on who won the season?
You know what? I was surprised. No tea, no shade. Probably a little bit of shade. But, from the beginning, having been in that kitchen with the other contestants and just also watching the show develop, post-production, Cesar and Ashley have been the strongest competitors, at least from what I've seen, and the most consistent. So I was a little surprised when Gerron won. I mean, he did definitely step up his game from where everything went down. But I was just kind of oh, okay.
Well, I felt like this episode certainly made it in the edit very much gave Gerron kind of like the underdog feel that you feel like you couldn't
Yeah.
help but root for him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
I was surprised too, and I love Gerron, and I wanted to see him win, but I was surprised because I think, to Juni's point and all of our panelists, both Ashley and Cesar were fierce competitors. But can we just talk about Emily for a quick sec? Like, Emily was also crazy good. What was your experience with Emily, Judy?
Oh my God. So I the two people that I still stay in contact with like every day are Cesar and Emily.
Aw.
And that is because those two are, like committed to their craft. They're so smart. They're so like amazing in the kitchen. They're so creative. And so like I draw some of my creativity, and like I'm actually planning some catering events. And I was like running some menu ideas by them, and I trust their judgment. Which if you recall back to my episode, those are my two first picks when I joined my team, because I was like, I want Cesar and I want Emily, and of course everything happened. But those two are the best.
Yeah, they're very good.
Juni, can you just give us a kind of a synopsis about your experience on MasterChef? What did you take from your experience personally?
From my experience on the show, I don't know, it gave me, I guess, the validation and the self-confidence that I didn't think that I needed. The way that I present myself as, the happy-go-lucky, and I try to be, clever and witty. But, a lot of that comes from this facade that I put on to compensate for some of the struggles that I faced in life, from bullying, racism, discrimination, my mother's deportation, all these negative things that are around me. But just showing that the things that I have a passion for and, I valued as a hobby, were elevated to essentially the highest standard as a home cook. I don't know, I just it felt good to know that I could that I could make something out of this.
That's awesome. So which dish in the finale were you most impressed with? And then, I don't know if it also coincides, which one do you find to be the most challenging from watching it?
Well, looking at the dishes, I think that everything that Cesar made, because actually we had talked about some of those dishes, and I was like, are you sure you're going to be able to do this in an hour?
That mole, right? Come on.
Yeah, being Mexican, that mole, I know that mole takes hours to make. It's something that you would have to let sit on the stove. It's kind of like, how, other cultures do things like, collard greens or all this other stuff, but they're like, you need to let this, do its thing. And so I was like, I don't know if you're going to be able to do that in an hour, but if you can, go for it. But just every component that he did, creative, it was elevated, and just it was paying an homage back to his culture, which is also my culture. So he was my number one. So I think that the appetizer, that was definitely Cesar's appetizer was the one that I was like, I don't know if you can do that, man, but go for it if you think you can.
Awesome.
It was a showstopper, don't you think? It was beautiful.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous.
So being that, you got, like you said, the confidence that you didn't think you needed, I think that's good. And I'm sure probably a lot of your fellow competitors got that. Is there anything now that you're able to do that you weren't able to do before you started the show? Cooking wise.
Like on a technical level?
Yes.
Yeah. Coming home, I did kind of have maybe PTSD of the kitchen, because it was just like I would come home and I would cook for my friends or my fiance, and I'd be like, in the kitchen, I'm just like, he's like, Juni, calm down, you're not being timed right now. But it's really helped me with time management. I used to be the type of person that would be like, yeah, dinner will be done in 30 minutes. And then 4 hours later, it's like, dinner's served. So time management, my plating skills have gotten so much better. Now I put every single detail, into everything that I cook. So those are really some of the big key takeaways that I've taken from that. And also really expressing my creativity, because I felt that I was so boxed in by the ingredients and things that we had to cook in the MasterChef kitchen that I wasn't able to show my true creativity and my true, I guess, culinary skills that I went into the competition hoping to show off.
Word. You mentioned about some catering things. Is there anything that you're doing now business-wise that you can let us know and people can support you in?
Yeah, absolutely. So since leaving the show, I've been running my blog, which I've had before. You can find it at La Femme à Femme, which is French, means the lady's hungry, because I'm always hungry,
Yes,
or
she is.
junicuevas.com. I do drag brunches with Eat With, so I'm
That
actually
is
surrounded
awesome.
by a bunch of wigs
Oh, shoot.
right now.
Do you get in drag?
Yes, that was one of the things that I was really hoping to, talk about and show off in the show, but it never really came up. But I do drag, so that's one of my big creative outlets in life too, aside from my cooking.
Have you ever actually cooked in drag? Because that has got to get hot as hell with a wig on your head in the kitchen. Can we talk about that?
Yes, I do a lot of the prep work out of drag, and I
you
do
go.
most of the assembly or like finishing touches in phase. So because yes, you have padding, you have like 10 things of like pantyhose, a wig.
Listen, this is my day to day. But what about heels? Are you in heels too when you're in the kitchen? Because that's dangerous.
Okay, if you're not wearing heels, you are not a lady.
Oh.
I try to serve the whole look, head to toe, even some nails sometimes. So.
Oh, wow. Listen, cooking with long nails, that's
Yeah.
difficult.
Functional. I don't know how you do it, but I give you props.
Word. Well, Juni, thank you so much for joining us and letting us know your experience and all of that. Before we let you go, let the people know, you kind of give your website, but you can repeat that. And also on social media, let the people know where they can find you.
Absolutely. You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. La Femme, that's LAFEMME, a Femme, FAIM, or junicuevas.com. And you guys can find me all there. Follow my blog. You can keep up with all my Eat With dinners, or even learn some new recipes like my orange zested potatoes.
Yeah.
You know that we know about
Potatoes.
those potatoes, Junie. You know.
Lem
Our
loves
engineer
them. He
loves
still
them.
talks about them.
Lem loved them. I didn't do them justice, and they were still. I think to this day it's a great idea.
Yeah, I would have to
support you,
try
Juni.
yours because the ones
Yes, the
that
recipe is
Ashley
up on the blog,
made
so
for
check
me,
it out.
yeah, they were not. Anyway, I would try yours. I'm sure
We'll
yours
leave it
are
to the
good.
professionals. Can we
Exactly.
say that? All right,
Exactly.
that's
All good. But yeah, thank you so much, Juni.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Juni.
it.
Yeah.
Have a good night, and thank you for staying up and talking to us.
Keep in touch, Junie.
All right.
Bye.
So, who thought Gerron was gonna win? Like, who thought?
I really didn't wanted
didn't
to.
think?
I love the guy.
Carlina?
I wasn't ready for
I
that.
didn't think, but I mean, I felt like the edit gave him like that underdog appeal,
Yeah.
and so when they announced his name, I mean, I was genuinely like enthusiastically surprised. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'll say this on the appetizer round.
I was impressed.
He
Yeah.
killed it, and just not only killed it because I think they all did well,
Yeah.
but the feedback that he got, like I don't remember any negative feedback about his chicken. I mean, the quail, excuse me.
There was
And
none.
then to do that and never cook quail before, and just from what I've heard and watching other cooking shows and hearing and talking to chefs, quail is difficult.
Super
you know?
tricky, yeah.
And you could probably speak to it, Carlina, but it's just not, there's no fat.
Yeah.
It can easily overcook,
Yep.
things of that nature.
A lot of people tend to burn quail.
Right,
overcook it.
right. And if you're trying to cook it like chicken, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
And I mean, kudos to him for trying to elevate it from the Nashville hot chicken, which is very popular, to trying to do it that way. But it worked, and I felt like he had a shot once the appetizer happened.
Oh, yeah. for
Like I felt
sure.
like he was in the running. If he would have got the critique like maybe Ashley got with the dry
Yeah.
salmon or whatever, I'd have been like, oh no. But once he got the good critique, I was like,
Did you predict him last week?
I
No.
Oh, you did. No, I think you did. I think you
didn't.
did.
He's
I think
gonna-
you're
Don't
pulling the
hate.
draw.
No.
Don't
he's
hate,
gonna
Frank.
say now.
Roll the tape back. Roll the tape back. Don't play me. Don't play me. I think I did.
I think you did too.
I think I did.
Are they, y'all? What do you think? Are they getting like plating classes that we're not seeing? Because how do they?
Yeah, Gerron magically was
Like,
a fantastic
what?
plater. I was
Like-
like, wait a minute, where's
Well,
this
they were.
coming
What
from?
was funny was they were talking about his big fingers or big hands, and saying like it was going to be challenging for him.
He just went
And
through like
he worked it out.
he did.
Now he
So I'm sure. Come on now. I'm sure that
They've gotta be,
there's some
right?
help there, assistance. Not
I wish
saying
they
anyone's
would show that stuff.
But
Because,
that's-
don't you guys want to learn that stuff too?
but that's the magic of TV.
Yeah.
You can't give too much.
You're showing home chefs, and we're home watchers. Many of us enthusiasts. Like that would be something I'd love to see. Like, what are they teaching them?
Right.
Yeah. I
Some
would
of
feel-
us want to know.
True, and I feel my biggest thing about this season is that you really set it up as the three judges competing against each other and being mentors.
Right.
And we've talked about this with many of the guests, but we never really got to see the mentorship. And we've heard it from so many guests saying, "Oh, I wish it would have shown this, this, and this." And it would have been nice for the show to kind of break
Yeah.
form a little bit more and show that if you're going to
Totally.
pitch it as that season, we're going to be mentors. To
You mean
Right.
you'd rather see mentorship than them flying in on a side of beef or
Ugh.
like helicoptering in wearing,
Yes.
That was crazy.
JAG uniforms?
Yes, absolutely.
It's just
I
interesting
mean,
stuff. I'd love to see.
I did like the American Idol-esque about going home, because that's where I remember, that happening.
Yeah.
The top 3 American Idol. But I did like that, and I think that was the moment where it did humanize the judges and showing them. Hold on. Okay, they're wrong getting lost. Okay,
Yes!
of course. That was corny.
That was
That
so
was
corny.
definitely corny. Like, I agree with that. I'm like, come on, guys.
Because
stop it.
MasterChef cannot stop from putting some cheese in there.
is
They
doing it
have
to
to.
them?
They have to.
But it's also Fox, guys. I think Fox is big on cheese. I think
Great.
Fox likes cheese. I'm just saying.
So I want you to see that the writers are just sitting there.
Yeah.
We'll have them go to their hometowns. Oh, that would be
Right.
great. Like Aaron is like lost. That'll be great. And then they have to pitch it to him. And I'm sure Aaron's like, really?
Yeah. Do I have to do
All right.
this?
I'm under
I think they
contract,
pulled
I guess.
straws.
Yeah.
Like,
They did.
And suddenly
'Cause
these chefs are like actors too.
Right.
Like they have to
Right.
like, no, come on.
sitting in the car.
I love it's like their little reality show segment.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. It is
so
very much so.
painful.
But I mean, I think I liked it not for the cheese, obviously, but I think I liked it because what we've talked about with these cast members and the people that we interviewed is seeing them be mentored and seeing them talk about their dishes and like like with Cesar was saying, with Chef Aaron and being like, okay, well, if you do this dish, it's going to be challenging. Make sure you do this and make sure you do this. And that was one of the things I just didn't get a chance to ask him how much influence Chef Aaron actually had on the dishes he chose.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that would be interesting to know. If it was a big deal, then it's huge.
Yeah.
That means they really were a part of that.
can I go real quick? I just want to like speed through who
Yeah.
I gave my top to. So for top appetizer, I agree with you guys. Gerron definitely killed it. Best entree, I gave that award to Cesar because come on, the mole is very difficult to do. And then the best dessert was Ashley. So I gave like each of them their thing. So for me,
word.
it was very close cut, but I definitely think Ashley wasn't in the top 2, but I thought they were going to go with Cesar for sure.
You thought they were going to go with Cesar.
Yeah, but Gerron, like, they set it up really good to where he did win. I was like, what? And then I was like, yay! It was like one of those, like,
Right.
what's happening? So,
Right.
yeah, I just wanted to give my quick chef skills, like, boom, boom, boom. Just give everybody their credit.
I maintain that Ashley, like, she's a great cook all around, and I 100% Ashley, I love you. Great name.
But here comes
But-
the slam.
Baking. What were you gonna say?
But here comes the slam.
No, not a slam at all. But I've always in my mind continually I associate her with baking, and I feel like if she could just really focus on bake, she's like never failed on a dessert or
I
a
see.
sweet. I feel like that's 100%. She's got that on lock. Like I feel like she would just. She's a great chef as well, but I've just never seen her do poorly on a dessert. Right? Am I wrong here?
No,
No,
Have you
you're
ever seen
not.
her
you're right.
do poorly on a dessert?
You're right.
Well, for
I feel like
Gerron,
that might be her wheelhouse.
It is.
because for Gerron, the only dings against him were just his knife skills, and then the coulis, that it wasn't the plating wasn't consistent for all that. But other than that, in terms of criticisms that we saw, at least they weren't as severe as what the others had. And then when you have Joe coming out and hugging him, I was like, all right, well, you really, you're building this up like this man is like come from behind to like make it. So, yeah. So how could you not root for him when he actually did win?
And that's the thing, and everyone loves Americans. We love an underdog, right? We
Yes.
love an underdog story, and I think it played into the fact that even look at his mentor, it's Joe.
Yeah.
Like Joe's the only one that's the non-chef person. Like he knows how to cook, but he's not at Ramsay or Chef Aaron's level. So for him to be the one to win with Gerron, who was probably the least of everyone, the underdog. So it's a coming of age story. Like
It was easy to root for Gerron. He's never been nasty to a single person
Right.
the
That
entire
true.
step of the way.
That too.
That's true.
He's just been a great great.
Right.
It's easy to root for him, and
Sure.
I'm so happy. I think we're all so happy for him.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think it's awesome that like the only time I cooked on the after show, sorry guys, you got to go to Cooking with Carlina for that, but was when we had Gerron on. That's like
That
the
was
only
it.
time. Look at that.
Oh, shoot.
I was like,
Look at that.
right?
Well, it's been our show. That's it. The season is
Aw,
over.
So sad.
But it's been good. Congratulations, Chef Ron.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir. Appreciate him. Too bad we couldn't have him on the show, but we did have him, and he was pleasant and great, just like he was on the show itself. So shout out to him, and I hope he has a great future ahead of him. So there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been our show. We want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, everyone in the live chat.
Thank you.
Oh, I explained the In My Feelings. I'm like, what was that?
I heard it coming to us like, is it too
You
soon?
know, our engineer is funny.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
Shout out to our engineer too, who's been with us every episode.
Yeah,
Yes,
Thank you, Steve.
holding it down, making sure I go to the wives. But I'm Lem Gonsalves, and you can find me everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, at The Poet Saint, and also you can check out my website where you will not see any recipes, but you see other cool stuff, and that's stayonthemic.com. And make sure you check me out on Are You the One? That's every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Never fails. Ashley on camera, where you at?
Well, I'm not the one, I'll tell you all that. But I do love to talk, even when we're not on air, about what you're eating and also what you're watching on Netflix. So if you want to talk to me about either of those things, or I don't know, send me pictures of your dog, whatever you want to do, find me online at Ashley on Camera across all social media, and please keep talking with me there because I'm going to miss y'all. So keep talking to me. Ashley on Camera. Let's connect there.
I'm going to miss you guys too. You guys know where to find me at Cooking with Carlina, and then on Twitter at Cook with Carlina. And here's a little tidbit on one of my upcoming episodes. The Lem is going to be cooking with me.
Oh, shoots. What?
So you gotta follow me in Lem so you can see it.
Absolutely.
You're going to let him in here? Oh, Lord, y'all.
I won't miss
gonna be
any of you.
amazing.
So that'll be it. That'll be it for me. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Happy Go Jackie. I'll be doing an Instagram story about Lem and I. We're doing a little hot tubbing afterwards to celebrate the end of another MasterChef season.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Hot
It's sweet.
tubbing, Lem. Get ready.
Anyway, going to the
Sweet
wives. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you until next season. Peace.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.